what's Sharia perspective about meme coins?
Okay, I think that, but before that, I would like to also give you and explain a general understanding of haram tokens, for example.
Okay.
So, haram tokens are actually, or coins which are, which have some prohibited element. So, if they have any prohibited element, then we would say that like it is not Sharia compliant. I give you an example. So, some tokens are by design have interest element in them. I give you an example of DAI token, DAI. It is considered non-Sharia compliant. Why? Because DAI is created through an interest-bearing loan. So if there is an interest-based transaction, which is a loan, only then it is issued. So that's how basically DAI is issued, and by design you can see that like there is an interest element in it, and that's why it is not considered Sharia compliant. Another thing is about NFTs, for example. So like if we are talking about an art NFT, which is in the form of an image, so this will be considered not Sharia compliant. Why? If that image is basically breaching any Sharia principle or ruling. Let's suppose that it's a picture of a woman in an immodest clothing. So then it will be considered not Sharia compliant. That NFT will also be not Sharia compliant. Sometimes it is backed by a commodity which is not considered Sharia compliant. I have seen, for example, a token which was backed by a specific bottle of wine. So because of that, you can see that the underlying asset is not Sharia compliant, so the token will also not be Sharia compliant in that sense. So there are certain examples where we see haram tokens. Now coming back to your question that whether meme tokens are Sharia compliant or not, so we have to check that, okay, what is the objective of that project? What is the token issuance process? What is the design of that? Is there any prohibited elements? From my personal perspective, I have seen most of the meme coins as not Sharia compliant, by the way. For example, if you look at Dogecoin or Shiba Inu coin and other coins, so these coins, number one is like they do not have a clear economic objective. Even when they are launched, they are launched only because there was no economic objective. They were only launched that, okay, people will have it and someday the price will shoot up and then they will have benefits out of it. So like pure speculative purposes. Now, this cannot be true for Bitcoin, by the way. Why Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin was created as a payment system, peer-to-peer payment system to transfer value from one party to another. That was the utility. It was not pure speculative purposes that, okay, Bitcoin will be issued and then it will be listed on one exchange and then the price will shoot up. So meme coins are like that, number one. Their economic objective is not clear, number one. Number two is like even the mindset of the people. Remember that I said that innamal a'malu bin niyat as well. So like I think that this factor also plays here a little bit of role, not complete dominating role, but some role is there because like mindset of the people is speculative, purely speculative purposes. Third thing is about like mostly meme coins, what I have seen is like they promote an un-Islamic branding perception. For example, Shiba Inu, if you look at it, like it basically promotes a specific dog breed. And you know that, okay, of course, in overall, generically in Islam, this is not something which is, a dog is not something which is like encouraged to have. People cannot have them in their houses, and it is discouraged to have it as a pet. And of course, like you can only have it if you have a hunting dog and there is a need for that. Okay, so Islam allows that, but otherwise Sharia does not allow you to have dog as pets and just to have and then even there are certain rulings saying that like the saliva of dog, for example, sweat of dog is also not pure. So because of that, you are trying to promote something which is discouraged in Islam in that sense. So like the brand perception is also very important. And I have seen in most of the meme coins that, the perception, the brand perception, what they are trying to promote is not Sharia compliant in that manner. So generally, I see that like meme coins are, because of that, not Sharia compliant. But if there is one coin which is, although like categorized as meme coin, but has something as a clear economic objective, that by design it is Sharia compliant, also the brand perception and branding is also Sharia compliant, then I might be able to consider it in a different way.
So it means not all crypto is halal. Okay, a person like me who wants to enter the crypto, how we find out which crypto is halal, which crypto is not permissible?
Yeah. So, I mean, I was able to basically create as qualitative and subjective screening criteria for crypto asset. It's quite complicated by the way for common people to understand and then apply this criteria by themselves. So, and you know that another factor is that like it's not like when you see that like one token is halal or haram, it will remain like that forever. So you have to check it regularly. So because of that, I think that we need to create a system and we approach this issue in a systematic manner, that where we have a defined criteria, we apply it and when screen tokens and then say, okay, whether this is halal and that is haram. And we also review them on regular basis. For common people, I think that there was something missing and people were very much confused about it, Muslims, that okay, whether which token is halal, which one is not. I think that the first thing we need is like a proper qualified Sharia scholar understanding the subject matter first and then provide their ruling, and these rulings should be provided in a systematic manner, rather than people are searching and they do not know a sheikh, for example, but then they say, okay, this sheikh somehow he said that okay, this is halal. And you know that it is not encouraged that okay, people just do some internet research and try to search for it, and then you find that okay, some Sharia scholars, they do not know but appear to be a Sharia scholar and saying that okay, this is halal and this is haram. So I think that we need to avoid that unauthentic sources also. So that's why I think now we are addressing this this problem. Alhamdulillah, I think that Saraf screening is doing this, and then there are some other solutions. So they are trying to basically address this issue in a systematic manner, and I think that this would become like a very good resource for Muslim investors and users to differentiate between halal and haram tokens.
So what I'm my understanding right now is a normal person, it's a little bit difficult for himself to find out if it's permissible or not permissible, right?
Yes, you are right.
So we need like in stock market there is AOFI standards, so we need in crypto world also like AOFI standards.
You can say, yeah, sometimes some sort of standards we definitely need, because even in stock markets you have different criteria.
Yeah.
Dow Jones, they have different criteria. IOFI, Pakistan Stock Exchange, Malaysian Stock Exchange, Bursa Malaysia, they all have different criteria. So there are differences among them. But the thing is like, now there is a systematic approach towards it, like which one is Sharia compliant and which one is not. There are Sharia boards, Sharia experts who can tell you also about this. So I think that this is what we also need in crypto space, a systematic approach, rather than telling people something which they might understand, might not understand, and then say, okay, you are on your own, go and do the research and then do whatever you want, because it's a serious matter. So maybe, because you know that what happens is like, if let's suppose that you are dealing with a haram token, you generate some profits through the trade of that haram token, then of course like the profits, the revenue generated from it is also not Sharia compliant. So we have to be very, very much considerate about it and then take care of it. Yeah.
Okay, I think we finished off the crypto itself. Now the next topic is trading. Let's start with that. What's Sharia requirement of trading?
Okay.
At anything.
So if you look at the trading and break it down into simple steps, then what do? You buy something, you take the ownership of that something, you take it into your possession, and then sell it to somebody else, right? And I'm talking about spot trading,
Yes,
so
yes, yes.
it's basically spot trading like that. Now Sharia has mainly two rulings about it. As long as the underlying asset, what you are trading, the subject matter of the trade or transaction is Sharia compliant, halal, and when you are trading it, the process and the method of trading is halal, then it will become all halal. Okay, so we have already talked about that, whether crypto assets, what are they are currencies, they are non-currencies. If they are currencies, then and halal, then of course, like, you have to apply specific rulings of sarf, which is bay' sarf, for example, like the currency exchange. So Sharia has very specific rulings about that. So you have to apply them. If they are non-currency tokens, then they will become like a commodity, like a ayan or huquq or usufruct, like manfa'a, for example. So you have to follow the Sharia rulings for that. And if it is a subject matter, this is a crypto asset and it's halal, then the only thing is, like, you just sell it in a halal way. So like when you are buying it, you pay the price, and the price has to be Sharia compliant as well, halal property. You take the ownership, you take the possession, only then you sell it to another person, then it is halal.
So, okay, here, because Bitcoin is currency, so we use the fatwa of trading of currency, right?
Yes. So Bitcoin is a currency, which means, and it's I can tell you that, okay, this is halal property. So in that sense, when you are buying Bitcoin, you have to basically execute the transaction on the spot. Like, you have to take the possession of the Bitcoin and pay the price immediately. Once you have it, and the good thing about crypto asset is that they can immediately be transferred to your account. So once you have, or your wallet also, so once you have the ownership and possession, you can immediately sell it to another party. So there is no problem in it. So
There's no requirement to keep some certain time, nothing. Once you own, you free
once
to do.
the ownership and possession is there, you can immediately sell it, and you can also sleep on it. I mean, you can keep it for a longer period of time. It's up to you.
Yeah. So, and it's not any, is it any requirement that the thing which you are buying, yes, it has to be halal, but it has to be useful for the people, or there is no any certain requirement?
Look, if it was not useful for people in the first place, then there will be no value for that. If there was no value for that, then it was not mal in the first place. You understand?
Yeah.
So because of that, I would say that it was useful. That's why it was mal. That's why it was halal. So then there is no question about it. Now, I know that, okay, what you are trying to say, that when you are buying Bitcoin, for example, you might be only buying it not to keep it with you, just to sell it at a higher price. So like an investment. But then again, there are so many people who are, let's suppose, selling fruits, right? So let's suppose that I am a fruit seller. I have apples and I trade apple. I will never, there is no condition that I have to use those apples in my life. There is none from the Sharia perspective. I buy those apples, sell those apples, and I make profit out of it. Whether people buy from me those apples and then throw it in the dustbin, or they just waste them, they eat them, they do whatever they want to do because this is their property, I don't care. But what I do, of course, like now there is a very, very specific case, like when people are buying it to do haram things. For example, like there is a ruling in grapes, for example, like that if can you sell grapes to the winemakers or not, there is a different debate, by the way. But right now what I'm trying to say here is that, like, I don't utilize those apples. I just buy them and sell them to the buyers and make profit out of it. Will apple be haram for me or no? Yes, it is halal. Why? Because I am buying apple is itself is a halal subject matter, and I am buying it in a Sharia compliant manner and selling it in a Sharia compliant manner. So there is no problem with it. Now replace this apple with gold. Same thing. I buy gold. When the price is high for the gold, I sell it in the market to any potential buyer. I don't use that gold. Now, that period of holding gold can be 1 second, can be 1 year, can be 10 years, doesn't matter.